Hello. Okay. Today is the last day of this guided meditation, so I said, you know what? Let me come on here and speak a little bit before the meditation starts. Usually, there's not much people who tune in to the live while it's going on, so for topics, I'll just speak a little bit on the chakras and little bits of information that we come across in meditation. You find meditation, this entire thing that we're doing here is all about the journey inwards to find our higher self or source or God or however you want to call it. And in that process, looking inward, we in that space where we are able to quiet our mind, we tend to notice a lot more things happening in and around us that we previously weren't able to notice. Like chakras, for instance. Chakras are, to me, energetic points of emotion within your body. And it just so happens that along your spine, going up from the base of your spine all the way to the top of your head and above, these energetic points of emotion, they converge, they meet at those points. So the first emotion at the base chakra, the Muladhara, is imbalanced by fear. And when you balance your first chakra, you realize that the things that you were afraid of, they aren't as scary anymore because you're able to get over the fear of it. And then you realize that fear and excitement is the exact same emotion, but the only thing that changes is our breathing. And well, you may ask, how could one overcome fear that easily? And the answer is that it's not as easy. It's still a hard thing to overcome, but the bravery in facing the emotion, not while doing something, not like, you go into the bathroom and you have a fear of cockroaches and you see a cockroach. So you face your fear by picking this cockroach up and throwing it out. It's not like actually facing that fear like that, which is a byproduct of having get past the fear. It's more so of going back to the first time you ever felt fear. And so in the stillness of it all, right, because you're going to sit down and get yourself into a quiet place where you're able to see your body, or feel rather your body. And the mind is, to me at least, the mind is I am Mark. So the mind to me is Mark, is the culmination of experiences that makes Mark who Mark is. But the body is not Mark. The body is the culmination of things that I've eaten, the way habits that I've had, whether I've gotten up and worked whether I got up and worked out. Never mind. The habits that make my body my body. So it's like different entities of experience, as is your emotion. If you're very negligent towards the emotion, or you don't particularly allow yourself to feel the emotions that pass through and you bottle it all up, eventually this pressurized container of emotion is going to pop and spill everywhere, and you have a bunch of holes, and you have to do a lot of patchwork. And in that process, depression and anxiety and all these different things, the fatigue that comes with the healing process, we often overlook how much you need to heal, rest after experiencing and processing these emotions. I definitely think that the work week, the way our society is set up today, is not very equipped with the right infrastructure to allow people to find these or experience depth to themselves. It keeps us so busy. If we're not on our phones, we have to work and do all of these different things that keep us in fear, shame, guilt, or control-based loops to separate ourselves. That we're always distracted because we need to work to pay bills, and we need to work to get money, and we need to do this, and we need to do that, and we need to do this because we have some type of other need or wants to fulfill. And when you separate that and you realize that it's mostly all in the mind, because Maya, as in the illusion of reality, or you're using your third eye and you see in clear reality, but reality is much more of a projection of the mind, a vibrational state. You then realize there's a distinct separation there between the way we, that compulsive need to get something done. Of course, we're all human, and this is a place of experience. So in that process, I think it's very important to experience these things, because these are the lessons we often have to overcome. But in and of overcoming it, we could then utilize this to, one, learn from it, two, stop repeating the pattern that we were repeating all the time from this problem, after we found the solution of it, of course. And then with the people we interact with, we get to show up to them in this new energy without holding on to the negative, or I don't want to say negative, the imbalanced energy, whether that be, people pleasing, like you have a tendency to hold any door open for people is a kind gesture. I wouldn't say it's people pleasing, but let's say you get something, and the first thing you have inkling that you have as you meet somebody new and you get close to them is that you want to give them all of your things. And I don't think that I need to explain people pleasing. But you understand that when you have a negative trait and you get rid of it, you overcome it and you learn from it, you're able to show up to somebody else new without having or holding on to that negative trait anymore. And it gives the other person an opportunity to see, even if they're not accustomed to this new version of you, it gives them the opportunity to see a new perspective. One maybe they haven't seen before because they are in a similar type of pattern, especially if they were in your life as a part of the old you. So you set these boundaries, and boundaries is actually the main word there, which is the proper way to balance anything in your second chakra, the Svadhisthana. The proper way to balance that is boundaries, but different topic for a different day. So boundaries is like a screen door. You see, you have your door and then you have a screen door, and you can open your door and the screen door is there, and it blocks all of the bugs that wants to come into your house, but all of the clean, fresh, cool breeze is able to still blow through the screen door and hit you. So you get all of the good while filtering out all the bad. And the only reason where you might have an instance where things aren't working out for you is because your boundaries aren't clear enough. You didn't set your rules or terms of negotiation right with whoever you're dealing with. And boundaries, people who aren't accustomed to boundaries, they get quite upset when faced with a new boundary, especially if it's someone who has never experienced you setting a boundary before. And I don't blame them, because imagine every day you're accustomed walking through a door at full pace carrying food, a bowl of food in your hand. Soup is a good example because it's liquid. It could fall out of the bowl, right? And one of these days you just instantly you put the screen door there in front of the door, and the door is wide open, but you put a screen door there, you set some new boundaries, and that person has their soup who usually walks right through the door. They're not expecting a screen door, so they don't care about it, and they walk straight into it, and the soup spills everywhere, and they're upset. Well, this is how boundaries works from my perspective with people. But that being said, I think I ran off on about 4 or 5 different tangents, and I forgot the original thing of what we were going to say. But I would like to say first, I'm late. Secondly, so that's not the first thing I wanted to say. I just noticed that we're 6 minutes late for the 6:20 meditation, but that's okay. And the second part is thank you each and every one of you who are watching this VOD or recording, for coming here and showing up to do this meditation with me. This meditation is supposed to be done 40 days, once every day, or twice a day for 20 days, to find the observer within, or to be able to sit within that seat of separating the entity that's your mind, the culmination of experiences that make up the psyche that is who you are, and the body, the culmination of experiences that you physically undergone that has created the body that you're in. And to put yourself in the space of the observer, to notice and see your life from a third perspective, that once you sit in and once you have that ability to sit in, you're able to see the patterns, the traits, both negative and positive, that you experience, of your experience. You get to see these traits of experience, and from the moment you get to see these types of experiences that you have objectively without judgment, you are able to give yourself the ability or the gift of showing up or choosing differently. Even if it's arduous, even if it's very difficult to quit something, the moment you could identify a problem is the moment you could start looking to find a solution to fixing the problem. And I can't remember who said, I think it was Kidlin's Law or something like that, but they said that half of your problem is already fixed the moment you could clearly write out or clearly define the problem that you have. And being able to sit in the observer's seat, or from the space of source, from love for yourself, finding self-love, you're able to see the ways. In my case, when I was going through depression a couple of years ago, I was able to see the space of where I was treating myself wrong and allowing people to walk over me, or addictions I've had and how it was affecting my life and where it was aiming my life trajectory towards. And these are just some examples, but again, I'm still running around on a tangent. But before I continue, let's get into this meditation. Again, thank you, and I'll see you around if I don't do something like this anytime soon. I still post videos. I join my newsletter. I'll have a bunch of stuff there. I don't always post, but when I do post, you can be sure you're going to get value, especially with topics within mysticism. But my main goal is growth of body, mind, and spirit. So I do a lot of herbology, and I wouldn't want to say medicine, but you could look at it from that angle. It's all about holistic health, the way our body works, the way our mind works, and the way our soul works, putting them all together to find objective ways to be healthy and heal ourselves. I also do chakra trauma therapy for anybody who's interested. You can always reach out for that, which is, I'll guide you through a meditation where we go directly into the core chakra, which is the meeting point of the specific emotion. And we identify the first time you ever felt that way, and we're able to see it from a third perspective and separate the experience from the emotion. And that way you're able to then part with it effectively, and you no longer face that emotion in the same way. It's wonderful. It works really good, but you just have to learn the process so that when it does come up again, you're able to just nip it in the bud and you don't have to deal with it anymore. Again, I'm running on tangents. I'll just mute my mic. Let's get to the meditation.